Now, in the current economic climate, it may come as no surprise that employers are being advised to manage the expectations of their employees when it comes to paying out year-end bonuses and increases. But it's not all doom and gloom, as employees at mid and senior management levels in the country's top companies could expect an above-inflation increase in some cases. Joining us to talk about this and more is Advaita Naidoo, COO at Jack Hammer. Thanks for your time. We appreciate it. Now, given the current state of the economy, do we have unrealistic expectations when it comes to annual bonuses?
This is a survey that we do annually, and it's a bit of a temperature check of the market year to year, and we do this with mid and senior level executives, as you said, in a variety of corporates in many industries, so we don't just benchmark one. And this year what we found is that about 62% of the people we surveyed said that they were expecting bonuses that were in line with last year's, which were generally pretty positive, and 88% said that they were expecting inflation-linked increases or higher. And what this says to us is that, yes, times are tough, absolutely, but people are actually working pretty hard to stave off economic hardship for themselves and for their companies, and they just want to be compensated accordingly.
So when it actually comes to this expectation, what do people look at? Do they actually look at the company's profits, or do they say, well, as you mentioned, I've worked hard, so I deserve this no matter what?
No, I mean, people are definitely looking at what the companies are doing, and I don't think that people are inherently selfish, but bonuses, as much as they are performance measures, they can also be seen as something of retention measures. And about 46% of the people that we interviewed said that they could consider alternate employment either locally or abroad. And we have seen a number of South African professionals, unfortunately, leaving our shores. So companies would also need to look at what the costs are of losing a talented individual. So, obviously there's the upfront recruitment of a replacement, and then there's the training and the upskilling of someone new, and then just the amount of time that it takes for them to be impactful in that role. So, it's a lot of costs associated with losing someone, and the short-term pain of paying a bonus might actually serve them well in the long run.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good thing for companies and employers to know, hint, hint. Let's talk about this. Last year, only 38% of respondents actually were positive about the prospects of receiving a bonus, but things dramatically changing this year, as you mentioned. What are the factors that have led to people being more optimistic this year compared to last year?
Yes, I think there's a lot of faith associated in what's happening. There was a lot of comment about it being Ramaphoria, and yes, certainly we've seen that. And I think that companies are also seeing a bit of a turnaround themselves. So we don't just look at a one-year picture. We're looking at a 2 to 3 year picture. And yes, definitely some of our clients are seeing turnarounds.
Yeah. Now, you also show that respondents indicated that not receiving a bonus would influence their decision to consider a career move. Tell us about that percentage and the feeling on that one in particular.
Yeah, so for that, I mean, yes, a lot of people did also say that they would consider a move abroad, but it is just a shift to alternate employment. So yes, there are companies that unfortunately can't afford to pay bonuses or are taking that short view that it's a little bit of a grudge purchase, and then there are other companies that are looking at that long-term picture. And we talk about strong leadership, and that's what we mean when we talk about strong leadership, somebody who's able to look at the broader picture and know what an impact a bonus would have on morale and on motivation, performance, and loyalty.
Yeah. So two companies that actually are looking at whether or not they should be giving bonuses, what do they need to keep in mind when they make this decision?
Well, I think, when we spoke to these executives, we didn't look at whether they'd consider paying bonuses and salary increases. And I think if you think about the short-term, again, pain of paying a bonus or other form of variable pay, that makes more financial sense than the longer-term commitment of an across-the-board salary increase, especially when you can't forecast next year's conditions or the year after that. And again, you can't look at a bonus as a grudge purchase. You look at it as an investment in your people and an investment in your company, saying that, yes, things are tough, but we know that things are going to turn around. Please help us do that.
Wise words to end. A bonus is an investment in your people.